So everybody, let's give a huge clap.
Thank you. I hope I live up to your expectations. I hope that too. This is an image that captures one of the lowest moments in human history. If you're unfamiliar, this is the front gate of Auschwitz. This whole event started with the dehumanization of an entire people and ended with the death of 6 million. More and more in the past years, the self-same attitudes that allowed this to take place have been making a bold return, particularly in online arenas, and have been meeting little opposition. And this is simply unacceptable. Now, to persuade you that online anti-Semitism must be combated, I will first discuss the problems with apathy towards online comments. Then I'll mention the reasons these comments are made, and finally, I will demonstrate things every person can do to help. The first problem I will explain is why simply not caring about the issue is dangerous. The issue of anti-Semitism is one that has been on the rise in recent years. As of 2016, the number of active hate groups in the United States is on a 10-year high. By failing to recognize the issue, society has allowed for the growth of this hate. Online anti-Semitism is also affecting American Jewish communities. Between the 100-plus bomb threats made at Jewish institutions, 100 personal incidents of anti-Semitism, and a swath of cemetery vandalisms this year alone, one doesn't have to look very far to see how hate has affected American Jews. The rise and effects of anti-Semitism are the direct causes of a level of apathy towards the issue. But why is it that we aren't doing anything about it? Now I will discuss why anti-Semitism online isn't being actively combated. The first reason is that people might not think it's a problem. It is possible that the person making these comments was raised in a home where they were acceptable or simply were never taught that they aren't. Someone posting an anti-Semitic comment might be thinking, it's the internet, people don't believe everything they see. However, according to an article published in 2017 by Eileen Brown, a social media business consultant, 20% of Americans will share a story they see on places like Facebook without fact-checking it. In fact, according to that same article, 27% of millennials and Gen Z members trust Facebook newsfeed blindly. The second reason is the defense that the comments are just a joke. You've probably heard this before. The flaw in this thinking is the fact that jokes have a negative impact on social perception of a group. In a study conducted by Thomas Ford, he found that people would release their inhibitions about discrimination after hearing jokes targeted towards the specific group. Essentially, people felt as though they were given a green light to hate after hearing an offensive joke. The third reason is the free speech defense. Many people might defend someone making a wildly anti-Semitic comment or post as them exercising their right to free speech and may not even be in agreement with these comments. However, the problem with this defense is twofold. For one, it's normalizing and allowing the perpetuation of this kind of speech. Secondly, there's a line between free speech and hate speech. The legal definition of hate speech is the communication that carries no meaning other than the expression of hatred for some group, especially in circumstances in which the communication is likely to provoke violence. What many people might not realize is posts like these qualify as hate speech, not free speech. Since you can now see the reasons for these reasons for not fighting anti-Semitism are illogical and baseless, you might wonder how you can help. So lastly, I will show you how you can all do your part in helping to stop the spread of anti-Semitism. The first and most simple thing you can do is speak up and educate. Say you're hanging out with your friends and one of them makes a comment like, that person has a big nose, they're probably Jewish. Or, look, a quarter, don't you want it? These are personal experience things. Suppose you see a tweet from your friend with something that's pretty clearly anti-Semitic. Your way to help is to educate. By teaching people that these comments are unacceptable, you're reinforming their future comments. The second way you can do your part is to report any kind of incidents you see online or otherwise. As discussed before, there's no shortage of these types of comments online. If you see one on Twitter or Facebook that resembles any of these, you should report the account on the respective platform. Reporting is different for each platform, but here are some easy steps for reporting on Twitter and Facebook. Here are some of our favorite innocuous pop culture scientists on Facebook and Twitter, respectively. This is their opening pages when you click on their name. What you'll want to do is find where, under these drop-down menus, it says Report. And over here, Report page. And then you can fill out why you're reporting them. Most likely with they're being abusive or harmful, possibly they were hacked. And you continue these steps more specifically. I didn't actually want to report them, so I stopped here. If you witness any forms of vandalism, destruction of property, or attacks on the person in the real world, call 911 and do whatever you can to help. Finally, if you find yourself in the vicinity of someone being targeted with anti-Semitic remarks in person, I want to discuss what to do. First, assess the situation before you step in. If you think the confrontation may become violent, call 911. Do not step in and get yourself hurt. If the situation seems purely verbal, you may want to attempt to defuse the situation, perhaps by asking the attacker why they would make these comments and attempting to educate them. Hopefully, this gives you all a good idea of how to handle anti-Semitism should you all encounter it. And hopefully by now, you all know that online anti-Semitism must be combated. You are familiar with the problem and why it's happening. You've even been equipped with some of the tools you need to do your part to help end it. Together, as a group, we can push back against the tide of hate aimed at Jews in America.